Good morning, everyone. It's time for coffee time. Time for coffee time. We are waiting for Dr. Denyse to come in the waiting room, and then we will let everyone in. Dr. Denyse is going to be talking to us about having a healthy us while having a healthy business today. I'm so excited to hear her talk. We're going to give everyone about one more minute and then we will start. It is time for coffee time, Friday, February 2nd. I can't believe that it's already February 2024. It's so crazy how time is just flying by this year so quickly. But I'm getting a lot of things accomplished, and that's good. And I hope that all of you are getting a lot of things accomplished as well. It's exciting when we can look and say, okay, the month is started. The month is almost over. The month is over. What have I accomplished? And then look back and see everything that we have done. Maybe we didn't get everything done that we wanted to get done, but we got most of everything done. And you know, one thing that's great about goals and ambition is that if we have our minds set to do something and we try to do it and we're just turtling along, trying to figure it all out, and then we look back and say, oh, I did it. I really did it. I did almost everything, because almost is better than none. And if you don't have your ambitions ready and your goals set, you'll never accomplish what you really want to get done. So here is Dr. Denyse in our waiting room now. We're going to let her in, make sure she is good to go, and then we will welcome everyone else. Good morning, Dr. Denyse. Are we ready to let everyone in this morning?
Goodness, the trials of 6 o'clock in the morning.
Oh, I can't. Okay, hold on a minute. I can't hear you. It's probably me. Give me 1 second. Here we go. All right. Yes.
The trials of 6 o'clock in the morning.
Oh, oh my goodness. I sent you a better
you did.
background, and I have to change mine too, so no big deal. We're going to let everyone in, and then we will get our backgrounds all set up, okay?
Oh, okay. So my issue is, though, I downloaded it on the phone. I just need to get it to the computer now.
Oh, okay. All right. No worries. No worries. All right.
Just give me a couple moments. Give me a couple moments.
You take your time, because there'll be lots of us. I don't have mine where it should be yet either. So we're going to get everyone in. Good morning. Good morning. Okay. Happy Friday. Look at all these smiling faces. And just like I do, let's make sure that we have our coffee time background up if you have it. If you don't have your coffee time background, I will get it to you. We have a couple of new people in the house. I love seeing new faces. I love it, love it. All right, I am going to give everyone time to introduce themselves, but I'm going to give everyone like 1 minute because we're waiting on a few people, and let's try to get our backgrounds corrected. I have to do the same thing. So let's see what I can get done here. I'm so glad to see all of you here today. We are going to have a great time. Dr. Denyse is going to be our speaker today. She is excited to talk. I'm excited to hear her talk. Good morning, Grace. We are all trying to get our coffee backgrounds up. And let me see what I can do about getting mine up. You're saying, my goodness, she's the host. Why doesn't she already have hers? Well, I get busy and I forget. It's just the real truth. And we're all the real true people when it comes to this group, right? So I am looking for mine now and I hope that it's here. Yes, I'm here. Look at that. I found it.
Good for you.
Yes, yes. All right. Star, Addie, Jocelyn, do I need to resend yours?
I don't think I have one.
Okay. All right, I'm gonna start resending. Dr. Denyse, I know you have yours. We're just trying to get it put where it needs to go.
Okay.
And we will, let me look here, see what I can do. I'm gonna send it to your Facebook Messenger.
Perfect.
Let's see here. My fingers are not right today. So what I'm gonna do for our next event is I'm just gonna make sure I resend all of the backgrounds because maybe I missed someone or maybe you missed it, you know, and then of course we have a couple of new people I need to get some new backgrounds for anyway, so that works out for me. Let's see here. All right, Dr. Denyse, you let me know when you're ready to start speaking and we will get you ready to speak and then we can finish backgrounds while you're doing what you're doing.
Okay, it's up to you.
Okay, 1 second.
I'm here. I'm not going anywhere.
All right, my friend. All right. I love that attitude. Love it.
Way back in my Facebook.
It's way back in my iMac files.
Ah, okay, okay.
I'm still suffering from the handicap of switching over from
All right,
Android.
so why don't we do this? Let's go ahead and warm up our chat. Where are you this morning? Let's put that in the chat first, because I know that we have different countries in the house this morning, and I would love to see all of the countries at least. Maybe your state or other surrounding beauties where you're at. Let's do that first. Let's get that done. And then once you do that, after you do that, not during, but after you do that, let's go ahead and put in the juicy meat and potato information. Your email address, your appointment link, your whatever it is, however you want us to reach out to you, because that is the beauty of doing these kind of meetings. It's those golden nuggets of how do I reach Dr. Denyse? Oh my gosh, I must talk to Grace. How do I reach her? Don't make people hunt you down, because once they start hunting, they don't want to do that. They don't have time for that. Make it easy. Now, once someone puts their appointment link in there and you know you want to talk to that person, I want you to go over, take your mouse, click on that link right now, not tomorrow, not in an hour, right now. If you know you need to talk to that person or want to talk to that person, and make that appointment right now. Now, if you're not for sure, maybe you'll know in 30 minutes or in an hour before we leave, then you can do it. But there's some people that I know that Tamara probably needs to connect with or would like to connect with that hasn't connected yet. Or you know what, if you haven't connected with someone in 60 days, I know what Abby does, but if I have not connected with Abby about something in 60 days, I need to reach back out to Abby, because guess what? She starts doing new things. She gets new ideas. She gets new suggestions. So then I need to talk to her again, okay? because it's all about how can I help you? And if I can help you, then I know that there will come a time where you can help me. But Abby doesn't know how to help you if you don't talk to her, okay? So with that said, while everyone's doing that, I will get the backgrounds to you, but right now I want to welcome Dr. Denyse Turner. She is our speaker this morning, and she will be speaking for about 25-ish minutes. So hold all of your questions until the end. Write them down if you need to. Well, we will answer all of your questions after she gets done talking. I'm so excited for Dr. Denyse to talk to us this morning. Welcome, Dr. Denyse Turner.
Thank you. Thank you. I need to share my screen. Good morning, everybody, first of all. So early in the morning. I need to share my screen.
Yes, ma'am.
Oh,
Help with that, or do you have it? Click the share screen at the bottom of your screen, my screen. And once you do that, you're, there you go. There you go. It's coming. There we go. Look at that.
okay. And again, good morning, everybody. Good morning. My name is Dr. Denyse Turner. You can just call me Denyse. My mama named me Denyse. She didn't name me all the other stuff. She just named me Denyse. And so I am a mental health strategist, and I focus on trauma. And just a little bit about me, I started concentrating, focusing, and certifying in the area of trauma after going through my own traumatic experiences. So I'm grateful to be able to share any information that I have with everybody that I come in contact with. Trauma is not a sexy topic. It ain't sexy, but it's an extremely important topic because as we interact with other people, what we feel can be projected onto those other people if we're not careful. The statistics say that 61 to 70% of adults in the US have experienced some type of traumatic event in their lives. And so we know with over 223 million people suffering or repressing traumatic symptoms, we still haven't even seen the full and collective impact that has been left by COVID. And so that has to be addressed. You, as business owners, you are an influencer. And what is an influencer? An influencer is a person or an organization who has the power to change things or people's minds, or to make things happen by inspiring or guiding the actions of others. So you're definitely an influencer because if you have a business, you sell. And whatever it is that you sell, whether it's products or services, you're influencing people to purchase those products or those services. So what is emotionally healthy? Unfortunately, this is how we feel sometimes. Our thoughts may be all over the place because we're overwhelmed, either with business activities or personal setbacks. And so if we are influencers for our businesses and we are emotionally unhealthy, what happens to our partners, our collaborators, our clients, and our customers? And again, as I said, we could be projecting what we feel onto other people. We tend to separate our personal lives from our professional lives. And that's okay. That's quite all right. But when these emotions from trauma that we experience lead into someone else's space, then we're both impacted. And remember, we're in business to make money, so we need to care for our business's bottom line. And so there are 5 areas of trauma that I normally focus on when I am sharing with other people. And the first of them is to be trauma informed. And what that means is that we need to try to understand trauma, abuse, neglect, and how these things impact a person's life and relationship with others, because the relationship to others is key. The second area is trauma sensitive. We have to meet survivors of trauma, abuse, neglect, or any of those other horrible emotional residual feelings where they are. And if they're in extreme pain, numbness, or an apathetic distance from us, we need to be trained to implement trauma sensitive language. Now, when I say trained, that doesn't necessarily mean you got to go to school, you got to get any certification. Just be careful of how we interact and what we say to others, because the problem is we never know what somebody else has been through or is going through. So we have to be sensitive with our language. The third is trauma skilled. We have to listen, respond, and offer genuine hope to survivors of trauma over an extended period of time. So people who have experienced trauma can experience triggers which will bring flashbacks to them, especially if they have experienced chronic or complex trauma. And it takes time to even feel normal again, so we have to be patient. The fourth is trauma resilient. We have to learn how to take care of ourselves in order not to experience burnout, secondary trauma, or even compassion fatigue. And if you've ever flown, I know everybody here has been on an airplane, and they tell you, in case of an emergency, put on your mask first before caring for somebody else, because we really can't care for somebody else unless we take care of ourselves, and that's called self-care. And then the final is trauma responsive. Now, it's important to note here, we are not therapists, but if someone struggles with something that is in their lives or some type of residual emotion, we have to refer them out for professional assistance. Don't try to do something that's really not in your skill set. So, an emotionally healthy business builds environments of trust and collaboration, which create the conditions for partner satisfaction, collaborator satisfaction, retention, and ongoing business results. So in order to operate an emotionally healthy business, seems to think we have to be emotionally healthy, because that just makes sense. So in contrast, an emotionally unhealthy business or emotionally unhealthy individuals, business partners, collaborators, they pave the way for conflict, burnout, and attrition in your business. And so these things affect your bottom line and provide unsatisfactory outcomes for your clients and your customers. So we have to ask ourselves, are we emotionally healthy? Are you emotionally healthy? And what I've given is really just a glimpse of creating an emotionally healthy business. Because there's so many more things that we can consider. But what we have to do is look at ourselves. How are we feeling? Do we consistently have anxiety? Are we consistently frustrated? Are we consistently angry about things that we don't even understand why we're angry? And these are things that we have to look at and consider. Am I emotionally healthy? Am I going to impact somebody else with the feelings and the emotions that I experience? That's the most important thing. And so one of the things that I have been through, I've been through a lot. And one of the things was domestic violence. And so, and I was an old lady before I even experienced that. And so that actually impacted the trauma. But I have been trying to write a book for the last 3 years. And every time I would sit down to write it, the triggers would come. I would be immediately placed in those situations of pain and trauma that I experienced. And so this is my 8th year after losing my husband. He was not the abuser, just to make that clear. But the 8th year, and the number 8 indicates new beginnings. And so this is my year of new beginnings. And I am on the road to getting that book completed. It will be released on my birthday in August, and I'm going to launch it at sea in October of 2025, which is Domestic Violence Month. So I'm really excited about that. There will be things that come up, even as we move forward, there are things that will come up that will trigger us, but we have to know how to handle any triggers, how to handle any emotions so that we can move forward, because there are people depending on us. Everything that I am talking about, I have been shown that I'm going to help a lot of people. And so if they're depending on us, I have to be emotionally healthy in order to help somebody else. And so I don't impact them any further. And you as business owners, you're the same. You come in contact with people all the time. And you have to understand whether you are emotionally healthy enough to run an emotionally healthy business. And so here's the ask. Here's the ask. And it's very, very simple. What is the ask? If you're an entrepreneur, make sure you take steps to create a more emotionally healthy. If you're a business partner or a collaborator, make sure you take steps to create a more emotionally healthy you. If you're a client or a customer, make sure you take steps a more emotionally healthy you. And this is how we are going to create emotionally healthy businesses. And so one of the things that I will ask of you, I offer a free 30-minute consultation just to have a conversation to see if there are any emotions that we struggle with or that we think, I'm not quite sure whether I should be feeling this all the time. And so I offer a free 30-minute session so that we can dig into that. And that, my friends, is how to create an emotionally healthy business. Now, I always like to leave room for questions and answers, but I need to ask you something. What does emotionally healthy mean to you, or how does it feel to you? And we can open our mics. We can, I like to be interactive. So if we want to, talk to each other, I'm here for that. What does that look like? What does that feel like to you?
Good morning, Dr. Denyse.
Good morning,
Tamara. How
Mr.
are you?
Vera. How are
Um,
you?
To be an emotionally stable looks to me. To me, that looks like I would be able to handle my emotions to where I wouldn't yell or scream if I get mad, or if I can, I don't have something. I can be able to forbid those or forebode those triggers, go around them so nothing will really trigger you that way. That's what emotional stable to me means. I don't know what it means to everybody else, but that's what it means to me.
Thank you, Ms. Tamara. And what she brought out was an excellent point, because I don't want anybody to think that I've dealt with everything, nothing will ever come up. I'm good. I'm perfect. I'm not going to create any issues for other people. Yeah, we can always get triggered by something. And especially if what you have been through was impactful in your life, it was painful in your life, you will always be triggered. The key, like Mr. Maris said, is how do you handle it? How do you navigate those emotions, those feelings, so that you are not bleeding on somebody else? That's the trick, and that's the key. Handling those emotions. Anybody else have an opinion on that?
Well, for me, I would say that because myself as well, I experienced a lot of trauma, and growing up not being allowed to express emotions, I'm very big on working through my emotions, right? Not pushing them down. So, and I have 3 children. So for me, it's very important for them to know that it's okay to show your emotion as well. So for me, being able to express and show and talk through it with them is allowing them to feel safe as well to express their emotion. And at the end of the day, to me, we're all human. So if I am angry, I am going to voice that I'm angry, right? And then work around that. So for me, it's working with the person, especially my family, right? No, not with a client. I'm not going to do that, right? I'm in control and I recognize my triggers, right? And being aware of my emotions, right? And knowing that. So if I feel like I'm going to get upset, I recognize that, and acknowledging those emotions in those moments allows me to process them and move through them quicker.
And Ms. Jocelyn just brought out a couple good points. The first thing is we have to acknowledge how we feel. You cannot fix what you don't acknowledge. So if you're acknowledging right now, I'm angry, and this is what I need to do to get through it. And the second thing is working through it with her children, because this is how we create generational curses, allowing our next generations to feel the emotions, that the negative emotions that we have had, and we don't want to do that. And so working through that with her children is definitely a good thing. Thank you so much, Ms. Jocelyn. Am I saying your name correctly? Jocelyn? Okay. Hi, Ms. Dar.
That button's not going to get me today. um, good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
I agree with what everyone has said. Everybody has brought up some really good, valuable points. For me, I would be a listener, not necessarily a solver, but I'm a good listener, and I would just let people talk, and I would encourage by making sure that they know that it's okay not to be okay, and that just you need to somehow build up their trust to be able to get them to talk to you, and that would be one way that I would definitely go about helping.
Let me just highlight one point that you said. You said you're not a solver. However, there are many times when a person doesn't need anything but your presence. And that listening skill that you have, that's what they need many times. And especially in times of grief. You know, we tend to try to help people through their grief by talking and saying this and saying that. They just need presence. So if you sit there and you listen, let them vent if that's what they need to do. You listen, that is solving. Thank you, Ms. Starr. Ms. Grace.
So, because of what you've said and everyone said, I am thinking that you do not agree with the saying, leave the past in the past and move on, move forward.
Depends on how you mean that. Because if we just leave the past in the past and we don't think about the things that we've been through, that means that we're not dealing with the emotions, that we're not dealing with the situation. And that's called suppressing. And when you suppress those emotions, they will tend to erupt later.
Yes, but leave the past in the past, move forward. To me, it means like you've had these bad experiences, but learn from them and move forward, you know?
Absolutely. Absolutely. No, I agree with that. I absolutely agree with that. And in moving forward, you do have to deal with the residual effects and the emotions. I'm not saying to live in the trauma and to sit in those painful feelings. You have to deal with them, move forward, and live your life, live it in a healthy manner. Did I clarify that?
Yes, thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you. Ms. LaDonna.
Okay, so I have a lot to say about this topic.
Okay.
I've
Let's
lived
do
that
it.
life. I've lived that life where when I was a child, I was never able to have a voice of, hey, this is wrong. I don't like this. I need help. You were never allowed to talk to, because that was talking back as a child. That was talking back. You do as I say, when I say it, how I say it. It doesn't matter if you don't like it. It doesn't matter as being a child. And you were never, ever supposed to talk to anyone about your feelings outside of the house either, because it was no one else's business. Now I'm looking around the room and the majority, not all, may have experienced that only because of our ages, or I don't know, but that was my thing. So as an adult, because most of you know, I met my husband at 15, we married at 18. So I really didn't get to grow up and deal with all of these things. So unfortunately, he had to experience them with me. But fortunately for me, I had him. Because guess what? I did not know I had an issue. I thought it was okay to scream and yell. And when I got mad, to throw things at someone or a wall or whatever, because guess what? That's what I knew. That's how I was raised. So I didn't know there was a problem. So this poor man had to help me through all of this, because guess what? Before you're married, none of that crap happens when you're when you marry so young. So he had no idea. I don't know why he didn't run to the hills and forget me. I don't know. But 40 plus years, he's still here with me. But I want one thing in my life, Dr. Denyse, is that I had to deal with a lot of abuse, and it took years to deal with it. Because number one, I wasn't allowed to tell people. And now I want to scream to the rooftop and say, shout it out, sister, shout it out, brother. Tell the world that they are not alone, and I'm here to help you through it. I just want people to know everyone doesn't know they have an issue, a challenge. Sometimes it is that sounding board, like Miss Dar said, just listening. But sometimes you may be talking about grocery shopping, and one of your new friends may come out with something that happened in their past that is abuse of some kind. It's not really a question, Dr. Denyse. I just wanted you to be a sounding voice for everyone that may not have remembered to say something like that this morning, and maybe you can say something to help them through it.
And I think one of the things that you said that is definitely impactful, depending on what we've been through, who we have been raised with and by, we lose our voice. And that's certainly what happens in an abusive relationship, because you're trying to keep the peace. And so then you lose the little voice that you have. You don't say anything, you don't do anything that's going to erupt that peace. And so you lose your voice. You don't know how to even advocate for yourself. And so one of the things that I do in working with people one-on-one is I go back to childhood, because that is what has to happen. How were you raised? What were you raised like? Was your mother nurturing? Was your father compassionate? Did he sing to you? Did he rock you? And we have these specific roles as mothers and fathers when we're raising our children. And when they don't happen as they should, children will skip, or their developmental process will be interrupted. And this is what creates the trauma that passes down to our children. And so you said something, very important. We really have to look at what have we gone through. God bless your husband for staying with you for 40 years through all of that. But this is, we have people in our lives who, no matter what, they love us. They want to see us emotionally healthy. They want to see us doing what they don't understand. At 18, I'm sure he didn't say, I want to see you emotionally healthy. But they love you, and they want to see you do well in life. They want to see their growing family do well. And so it's important that we really look at childhood. I know a lot of, and I tell people when I work with them one-on-one, there might be times you don't like me, and I'm going to apologize for that up front. But in order to get to the infection, you've got to dig deep into the wound. You've got to pull the infection out so that it can be healthy again. And so that's what we have to do sometimes. Thank you so much, Ms. LaDonna. Was there anybody else?
One more thing, Dr. Denyse, is that, how do I say that? Sometimes as a mom, it seems like to our children, everything is mom's fault. I don't know. It's just everything's mom's fault. It just is. I have 2 adult children by the same mother, by the same father, raised 3 years difference in the same lifetime, but they're completely different and they completely think different. One of them, everything is my fault. And my other one will say, sister, I don't know what world you lived in, but my life was great.
And we're all individuals.
That when they think like that, one of my daughters will say, well, I don't think you ever hugged us, Mom. I hug them girls all the time. there's something there that is blocking that. Like I said, my other daughter will say, I don't know what you're talking about. My life was great. I got lots of hugs. And so I don't know what, if there's got to be a blockage of some kind is what I think, but I'm not you. I don't know. I don't specialize in that.
Right. And we're all individuals and we have to realize that. So we all have free will. We all have our own ideas, our concepts of how things have gone for us in our lives. But there could be, and I'm not saying there is, there could be something that needs to be looked at in the child who says, I didn't get that. We're all individuals, so we're going to feel differently. But what is it that impacted her to feel like I didn't get what I don't see things the way you do. I feel a lot different. So, maybe that's something that you can, and I'm not saying that she needs to have any type of digging into right now, but that's maybe something that you can have a conversation about. Just dig into.
And the main reason.
Well, do you remember and recall certain times? Do you remember when we did this as a family? I think it was a loving time. Did you not feel that? Just ask her questions. See what she says.
That's a great idea. And the reason I brought this up is I wanted people to realize same mom, same dad, only 3 years apart. We did everything together, but one personality seen it different than this personality. And I don't know why, but it's there. So sometimes you don't see it the same way as another person.
And science says that out of 4 children, 3 will be alike. 1 will be different. You just happen to get that one different one the second time. But asking questions. How did you feel about this specific event in our lives? How did you feel about when I showed this type of love to you? See what she says.
That's beautiful. I love that idea. I would have never thought about that because, I want to look at her and say, what?
Yeah, what? I mean, sometimes, our children can come out with something. What? Did you live in the same house with me?
Yeah.
But we don't want to provoke them. So just ask her questions.
Dr.
Hey,
Denyse,
I'm
I've
always to blame
gotten
for everything that goes wrong.
Yes,
Always.
ma'am. Everything.
Well,
And that's
because
not so bad. I blame my mother most of the time.
and you know why? Mothers are the nurturers. And so they are the most important person in our lives. Daddy did something. Yeah, he created you. But for the most part, the mother is the one who interacts with the children. And so if something is going wrong, whose fault would it be? There's nobody else's fault.
Exactly.
It's your fault.
And Dr. Denyse, they do define between mom and dad. I mean, I know my girls do, so I'm guessing I'm guessing that all children do. Like, they know if they need help with something, like they're trying to accomplish something, but they need help accomplishing it, or they need help with one of the grandchildren, they will call mom. If it's anything to do with finances, money, anything like that, they call dad. Now, I'm guessing that's because I'm a problem solver when it comes to most things. But I'm not the budgeter of the family, never have been. I'm not the finance person of the family. That's always been dad. And dad is where I'm the rock of making sure everyone's healthy, everyone's living life to the fullest. Daddy is the one that has always made sure that his family has been provided for, even at their adult age. So I do think that children do define between mom and dad somehow. I don't know if it's the same as what I have, but I think they do define between the two, like you just said.
Absolutely. And as we raise and grow our children and mature them, they understand the different roles that mother and father plays. And so they get that. And there's certain things that I'm gonna go to daddy for first. And I think we're lucky this morning. We have a gentleman in the room. I don't know if you're able to speak. And I know I'm going to mess your name up, so I apologize. But if you're able to speak, I would love to hear your perception on the roles of mother and father if you have children, or from your own developmental experience.
I'm probably going to, there he goes. How do you
Hi,
pronounce your
everyone.
name?
It's Ayomide.
Ayomide.
Ayomide. It means my joy has come, right?
Okay.
So, and you can call me Chara, Chara. That's the Greek word for joy, right?
Okay.
I really enjoy this session with you guys, and from my own experience, and I've not given birth, but then I'm in my early 30s, and then I do understand that there's a distinct role between the mother and the father. And then growing up, I'm from Africa, right? And then we understand that these roles are quite similar everywhere around the world. Like for me, when I need financial issues or I need business direction and clarity, I go to my dad, right? When I need some sort of emotional support or so.
Did we lose
I
you?
think we did.
Okay, maybe we'll get him back.
But if you listen to what he said, the last thing that I heard, if you need emotional support, who do you go to? And so because the mothers provide that emotional support, anything that goes wrong is your fault.
Absolutely. I would also like to hear from Anita. I haven't heard anything from Anita. I'm sure she has some strong points about this.
Well, as a mom, I'm like you. I don't think my three boys grew up in the same household if you heard them tell it. and the one who says that he hasn't had those experiences, the other two look at like, what? So yeah, I think it's interesting. In my family, I had two parents and grew up in a loving household, but my boys, they lost their dad when they were young, so I'm the only parent they have to go to. And I have two sons that are single parents. There is no mother for those two due to mental health issues, believe it or not. So I was just thinking, as we were talking about roles that moms and dad have for single parent families, where the one parent has all the roles. And I certainly try to, as a grandma, they call me Oma, which is German for granny, as the Oma, to be there, particularly for the granddaughters, but also the grandsons as the female figure, because one has absolutely, three of the grands have absolutely no contact with their mother. She's not allowed to be around them. The other have some, but she's a very negative influence. So with two single parent dads, trying to fill in some of that sort of female influence role, but I see that they run to dad for emotional support. If they don't feel good, they go to daddy. So, that tripped me in thinking, when the roles are all into one, whether it's a single mom or single dad, that puts even more, if you're the single parent, pressure on you to fill all those roles, right?
Absolutely. And because we have to fill the roles of both parents, that happens. And you'll hear one thing that I sort of hesitate about is on Mother's Day, when or Father's Day, when a single mother will celebrate Father's Day. Well, I was both parents. yeah, you fulfilled the roles and the responsibilities of both parents, but it doesn't mean that you celebrate Father's Day or vice versa, a father celebrating Mother's Day. I mean, that's just, something personal I have. You do what you have to do to raise your children. You're a single parent, and so you have to fulfill both of those roles.
Dr.
Welcome back,
Denise,
Ayomidi.
Dr. Denise, one
Oh,
thing.
thank you. Sorry about.
Go ahead. Go ahead, Ayomi.
Okay, I was talking about communication and how I express myself, right? So the best I do now, and then understanding that I agree with Grace at a point where she's saying that I let go, right? I let go of the past and move on with my positive mind. But then understanding now that doctor had already said, as much as you're letting go, you have to make sure that you don't go back and pick up some pieces from it going forward. So you have to just let go and let go fully, right? So as much as I understand all of this now, I know I'll better just do more of communication, and also when I need to talk, I talk at that instance here. But then the role of a father and a mother, right, in child upbringing, I think you can't get the full balance. You just strive to be a better parent, right? You can't get the full balance. There's different behaviors and different developmental stage across. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And LaDonna, let me just say that as we wrap all of this up, the question might come up, well, how do we get to our feelings and emotions when we're talking about our businesses? And so we just have to understand that as we experience our own emotions, let's not transfer them and project what we feel onto somebody else, because now we are impacting our business's bottom line. And so let's say if you're serving somebody and they don't like your attitude, they don't like how you do business, you may be projecting onto them something. And so that is the sign of an emotionally unhealthy business, because that's impacting your bottom line. Let me just say thank you so much for everybody who's shown up this morning. I appreciate your participation. I appreciate you showing up and looking at my face this early in the morning. Thank you so much. And thank you, LaDonna, for the invite. I
Thank you
appreciate
so very
all of you.
much. Thank you. Well, I was going to ask Elena how she felt. She is new to the group, but I see that she has left us. And we didn't get to hear anything from Kelly, so I would like just for your input, Kelly. I never want to leave anyone out, please.
Well, I got in late, so but just listening to it, it's funny because I honestly don't feel growing up that I had trauma. But then when I listen to people, I think, oh, maybe I did have trauma. At one point, my brother, my sister, and I were all together and we were talking, and both our parents are gone. My dad died in 1990, mom died in 2005. And we're both from the same mother and the same father, but they did split up early. My dad left when I was 12. And we were sitting there going over our childhood, and afterwards we got like, did you grow up in the same household as I did? Because I don't remember any of that. I was always the older one. I was 3 years older than my sister and 5 years older than my brother. But still, it was like, really? So it's, yeah.
That recurring question, did you grow up in the same house?
Yeah. And when you said that, LaDonna, and I only had one daughter. So, I mean, she went to her dad her dad hid a lot of stuff from me, like she smoked. He'd buy her, I'd found out after he passed away, he'd buy her cartons of cigarettes. I wouldn't even know about it, so they had that bonding relationship as well. So, yeah, it's quite interesting.
Thank you so much for your perspective.
Really think about it, Kelly. I mean, I know that my kids did this, my girls. I only have 2 girls. And then God blessed me with 3 grandsons. And the 2 oldest grandsons, dad has never been in their life. So when you brought up Mother's Day and Father's Day, my daughter always celebrates Mother's Day. But when the boys were younger, she always made sure they spent Father's Day with Pawpaw, because Pawpaw was their daddy figure as far as a man role in their life. So that was interesting when Dr. Denyse brought that part up. And then the situation of the household thing of what childhood did you grow up in, or what house did you grow up in? It's amazing how it happens. It just does. But doesn't children always, like, Mark and I raised the girls together, but it was always, oh, Dad, can I go to so-and-so's house? Mom said it was okay. Did she? Did she say it was okay? We would always have to reflect back to each other, because they would tell those little white lies about, oh, Mom said it was okay if I went and played in the highway. And Dad would go, really? I don't think so. Go back and ask her again.
That's
Some children-
developmental manipulation.
There you go. There it is. So sometimes I think as teenagers, they become all manipulation. I have 3 grandchildren that are all teenagers right now that I want to strangle, but it's all manipulation, right? And you just hope they grow out of that. But sometimes
Right.
they don't, right, Dr. Denyse? Sometimes
Well,
it
and
takes
that's-
longer.
That's why I say it's developmental manipulation. And, we look at our children, they learn so much just by observing. And so they know which parent they can get a yes from. And so they're going to do whatever they have to do to get a yes. Hopefully they do grow out of that and they don't manipulate the rest of their lives.
I always say they become human again when they're around 25.
True.
Some
And yeah,
lady told me that when I was raising my 2 girls when they were teenagers, and they got into a fight, an argument right in the middle of a crowd. And the lady just looked at me and said, I promise they become human again when they're about 25. And she was right. One of them, it was 25, the other was 26,
absolutely true.
So, we have about 4 minutes left. And we could carry this conversation on for hours, Dr. Denyse. This has been an eye-opener. It has been a learning experience for me. A lot of things, yes, I did know that I had forgotten. It pushed back in my mind. But you know what? Dar will take your question very quickly. And then I got a picture earlier and I put it on the screen because people started leaving. It's in the chat. Thank you, Dar. I want to give you like 10 seconds to go around the room. There's just a few of us. Tell us what you do and what your business is, please. Abby, we will start with you. Then we will go to Dar.
Thank you. Very quickly, I'll use my tagline because it says it right to the point. I'm flying in from tech heaven to give your computer more life and protection. Thank you.
Thank you, Abby. Brilliant. And any tech issues, call Abby. Dar, and then we will go to Kelly.
Hello, my name is Dar. I am a sole proprietor of Dar's Creative Cards. It's my job to make you and your family and friends feel all warm and fuzzy inside, because I craft custom homemade greeting cards uniquely just for you. Each one is individually crafted by me, by my own hands, and
Thank you,
and
Dar. Thank you.
I didn't know how to
I'm
end it.
going to get that word homemade out of her. Custom made. She said custom and then she said homemade. I'm going to get that homemade word out of her because she makes the most brilliant custom cards. They're brilliant. I love them.
I'll have you
Kelly
know,
and Anita.
I'll have you know that I did not read one single word. That's why I didn't have an ending out of it.
It's okay. You're doing so much better each time we meet. All right, Kelly.
So, hi everybody, Kelly Durham. My business is Super Patch, drug-free wearable tech. And anybody who is feeling that, overwhelming that, we do have a couple of patches that could help, either a peace patch or a joy patch.
Perfect. Thank you, Kelly. Anita, then we'll go to Grace.
Hi, I'm Dr. Anita, the healing strategist, and I help working moms who are suffering from crushing fatigue to regain their energy so they can reclaim their lives, so that they can be the mom they want to be and soar in their business or career.
Awesome, Anita. Grace, and then we're going to go to Madi. I'm going to say that wrong every time, and I'm so sorry. Grace.
How about Shara? He says, call him
Shara.
Shara.
Call him what?
Shara, Chara, I believe.
I can say that much better. Thank you.
Mhm.
Grace.
Yeah, since this is coffee time, I want to talk about the Organo Gold coffee, because it it also gives you energy, but because of the superfood infused in it, the reishi mushroom, it also works with the chemicals in your body to calm you down and give you a more relaxed feeling. So and get you through your day. And it
Thank you. Thank you,
it does
Grace.
not have it does not give you the jitters like
Perfect.
like
Thank you, Grace.
coffee.
And Shara.
All right, thank you, LaDonna. So I'm a digital marketer, and then I help coaches scale up their digital marketing process via Facebook advertisement and sales funnel designs. So anything digital marketing, I'm your go-to guy. Thank you.
Thank you. And Dr. Denyse, is there anything else you would like to add real quick? We're already a minute over, but I always want to give you the last words.
I just want to thank everybody for showing up this morning. Show up and show out. Thank you.
Absolutely. Love you all. And I will see you on Monday Night Mojo on Monday. Thank you so much.
Bye-bye, everybody.